we're gonna have a fight today after school. 3 o'clock in the parking lot. You try and run, I'm gonna track you down. You go to a teacher, it's only gonna get worse.
Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. Your leader in sports in the Inland Empire. Now, here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
It's Friday. You got nothing to do but listen to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. A huge Friday of local sports here in the Inland Empire and across this great nation as well. And the big story right now, breaking news, Jeff, it just went final. The UC Riverside baseball team down there at Diablo Stadium, the home of the Angels. Spring training home in Tempe, Arizona. Big win to open the season, right? Against Washington State. It just went final.
I was listening to the game as I was driving into the studio today. They were winning. I was like, heck yeah. Big West beating the Pac-12 squad, just like UC Riverside did this season versus Cal. It's going to be a great year for the Highlanders.
So Troy Percival and the Highlanders going on the road down to the spring training home of the Angels, opening up with a big win against Washington State. Just went final. And then in a couple minutes, they're going to play a doubleheader. But this time, it's going to be Nebraska, who's coached by Darren Erstad, another former Angels great. So double up on the Angels as they're going to meet today in the opener. So big win for UCR baseball. What was that final score, Jeff, against Wazoo?
8-1 in favor of UC Riverside.
And the big hit in that game for UCR, a grand slam from Big Country, Connor Cannon. Here it is. Ghazal Hassan on the call.
The scene for the Highlanders last year, if you'll remember, in the opener against Nebraska, he launched a home run here at Tempe Diablo. How about that? Young kid, grew up playing baseball in Southern California, comes to the Angels spring training home in his first college game, takes one out of the park, high fly to left field. This one's deep. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Grand slam home run for Connor Cannon. Big Country breaks out the boomstick. It's 8-1 Riverside.
Boomstick.
Grand salami with Connor Cannon. You know, he looks like He-Man.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Or Thundar the Barbarian.
What was Thundercats? Lion-O, remember the guy Lion-O, the main character, the big strong guy?
Big blonde guy. He's kind of got a Thor quality about him. I went to the game last year. I'm like, holy smokes, look at that guy's mullet.
You know, Ghazal Hassan's the voice of UC Riverside baseball, so we'll have to ask him about this. But I think the term boomstick, as we're talking about cartoon characters,
yes,
I think boomstick comes from the Transformer movies. Wasn't there a weapon they used called the boomstick?
I don't know.
I have to look that up. Google alert.
Were you a Transformers cartoon guy?
I was Star Wars first, G.I. Joe second, probably He-Man third. Thundercats, though, came on strong. They weren't as dominant. I mean, like, Star Wars is like a number 1 seed. Thundercats was like a 4 seed that makes a Cinderella run to, I don't know, the Elite 8 or something like that. That was the Thundercats.
Hey, speaking of Star Wars, I know we're breaking up here, or breaking off. Listen to this.
What?
The guys that write Game of Thrones are writing the new trilogy for Star Wars.
I heard about that.
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
That's a great thing, because I think Game of Thrones is the best TV show of all time. Outside of Seinfeld.
Outside of Thundercats. Oh!
Thundercats!
See? That's like the new version, though. Like, mine used to go, Thundercats, 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 oh!
Yeah.
Right? 3 times. Then Lion-O gets the business. Starts messing fools up.
That's so funny.
Just like Connor Cannon and UC Riverside baseball today, right?
Yep.
Suck it in, Jeff. If you're watching us live and amplified on the channel, yeah, Jeff is kind of... See, you don't wear patterns like this that, you know, the horizontal patterns.
You're not supposed to?
No. So I see you over there on camera kind of like, I'm sucking it in over here. Look at that gut, though.
So, really, you're not supposed to wear horizontal?
No. Stripes up and down, not the horizontal across.
Bert, I need to go vertical.
You need to go vertical.
But if I go vertical, it's going to have crooked lines.
Well, that may be the case.
Yep.
Big win against for UCR against Washington State. Grand slam by Connor Cannon. A big thanks to the voice of UCR baseball, Ghazal Hassan, for that audio from Diablo Stadium down there at the spring training home of the Angels. Coming up Actually, any minute now will be first pitch as the Highlanders will be taking on Nebraska, doubleheader to kick off the 2018 season. Also at Cal Baptist last night, they're opening. They opened with a 4-zip win against Colorado Christian to open up an 11-game homestand. They're back at it today out there at Topman Stadium. So nice start for Gary Adcock and the Lancers there. And speaking of CBU, hoops basketball last night, number 20, Cal Baptist, 20th in the nation. Big 90-76 win against Chaminade last night in local college basketball. As we continue our inland sports headlines on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, the Lakers on a 3-game skid, Jeff.
Yep, and I'll tell you why.
With IT, right?
IT is he didn't even start. He's playing 25 minutes a game. He is literally the last guy to come in. Played, 25 minutes is pretty good, but
trying to just maybe introduce him slowly to the team, right?
He's a rental. He's a rental for the rest of the year. They're just going to play him sparingly. I think they've kind of, I don't know if they've cashed it in, but maybe they said Lonzo is going to come back after the All-Star break.
I hope so.
I hope not. I'm so tired of it all. I'm just so tired of the old ball experiment.
Hey, speaking of, I know it's going to make you feel better.
Okay.
Lonzo Ball's mixtape, his album, dropped today, including the headliner, just titled simply LeVar.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, a little bit later in the show, we're going to sample a little bit of Lonzo Ball rapping, specifically his single called LeVar. It's all about his dad.
I'm going to throw up. I'm so tired of these
It's so
guys.
good. You're going to love it.
I can't wait.
It's going to make you forget all about that 3-game losing streak for the Lakers. 119-111 loss last night at the Minnesota Timberwolves. So now they go to the All-Star break. 3-game skid. And think about this. The All-Star game is in Los Angeles, but there's no LA All-Stars this year. No Clippers, no Lakers, nobody from the City of Angels.
No, but they're playing in that Understars or whatever it's called, or the Future Stars. Kyle
that doesn't
Kuzma,
count.
Brandon Ingram. Yeah, it is.
That doesn't count.
It is a sad day in history when there are no NBA All-Stars.
Sadness
from the city of Los Angeles.
And they're hyping it up because we flew into LAX with UCR basketball, and there's Antetokounmpo, whatever, that guy from Milwaukee. He's got a big picture at the airport, and there's all these NBA stars, posters, and banners all over the place, kind of welcoming the entire nation coming to Los Angeles for the NBA All-Star game. And I'm like, I'm not even into it. There's no Lakers, there's no Clippers. I got to be honest, of all the All-Star games, I think the only one I watch is baseball. I probably won't even watch a minute of the NBA All-Star game. I'm sorry. Well, not a big shock here. There's no Sacramento Kings in it either.
Yeah,
you guys laugh it up, Smiley.
Have they ever had an All-Star?
Lots. I can't.
Last time.
Many. Probably Chris Webber. Yeah.
Chris Webber.
There's been lots though. I can't. I'm not gonna fill up a 3-hour show of all the great players that have played for Sacramento. Nobody wants that.
Nobody.
Hey, and finally for the Winter Olympics, this is a bummer because Michaela Schifrin, we're a huge fan here of Michaela Schifrin, got 4th in the women's slalom late last night in South Korea at the 2018 Winter Olympics. Jeff, we sent you all the way to Steamboat Springs, Colorado, the birthplace, the cradle of life.
Yes. For
the Olympic spirit here in America. And I really thought Michaela Schifrin was going to get it done. Based on all the information that you gathered in Steamboat Springs, I thought she was going to get the gold. It would have been her second gold of this Winter Olympic Games.
Yeah, but did you watch it at all? I happened to watch it. A lot of wind during her runs.
Yeah,
a lot of upwind and a lot of snow blowing in her face. That would definitely make you 4th.
You know what? And I didn't know this either. She gets really nervous. Did you hear about this?
Yes.
Like she was throwing up at the starting line. Like she gets really overwhelmed in the moment, which is unbelievable because she's already won 1 gold medal. She won a gold medal at the previous games in 2014.
Yeah.
Like it's not like she hasn't been there before.
Come on.
But yeah, she was really nervous.
Come on, Michaela.
Yeah, so Michaela Schifrin, we're big fans, but she took 4th in the women's slalom. And USA Hockey, the men's team, 2-1 win against Slovakia. Again, no NHL stars in this one.
Yeah, it's a different
college guys who are maybe playing professionally, but not in the NHL, different leagues, maybe across the world or minor leagues here, but not the big time, prime time players from the NHL, but a big win for the United States men's hockey team, 2-1 against Slovakia. All right, we've got a lot more to get to a little bit later in the show. Bert Esposito, the new head football coach at Temecula Valley and also the president of the Southern California Football Coaches Association. He's going to check in, talk about this proposed bill that would want to ban tackle football for our youth. And there's been an outcry on social media, and we're going to hear from Bert Esposito about that. Also, is it Brandon Fletcher from Ramona?
Brandon Fletcher?
Ram High. Something about hoops at Ram High, man. They get it done.
Hey, they're playing tonight, or no, tomorrow
night.
At the Ram High Arena, and they're going to play the number 2 seed. But Brandon Fletcher's got it going on over at Ramona with a young ball club. So we're going to talk to him later on.
I think it's Foothill Tech, right?
Yeah, Foothill Tech.
When you step inside Ram High Arena, anything can happen.
Anything, at any time, anywhere. But I'm going horns up, baby. Ram High is going to win.
And speaking of Ram High, we got some pretty good run on social media with your short shorts.
Whoa.
Remember the pictures of you and Yancey Dodson in your Ramona uniforms?
Yeah.
Those are some short shorts.
Hey, you kidding me? It showed off those great gams I had, those great thighs. Yeah, those. It was nothing but hey.
Lots of hair. Yeah, lots of hair.
Yeah.
Short shorts.
That was beautiful. Man, yeah, I'm serious, man. I was wearing like those dolphin shorts.
You were?
Yeah. Remember the dolphin shorts you used to
wear? Yeah,
wear?
I do. I didn't wear them, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't wear them, though.
I had a pair.
Still?
No, not. Well, maybe.
Well, you might. Tucked away, right? For that special occasion.
I still have those shorts, though.
This is for you, Jeff.
I still have those short shorts.
Do you really?
Man, dig that crazy chick.
So you make fun of a Johnny Kennedy, but you were a Johnny Kennedy before a Johnny Kennedy.
Yeah. That's why he wore them. He saw that picture. He said, I want to be just
He's like, that's Jeff Gorham. I want to be Jeff Gorham.
I couldn't get those on one leg today, but maybe I'll wear them to the studio.
If you haven't seen it already, please go check it out on Twitter at @inland_sports. Jeff Gorham in the short shorts. Yancey Dodson had the full regalia, though, so you couldn't see his legs. But Jeff Gorham there.
His was short.
Showing those shorts. Full head of hair. I didn't know who the guy was.
Beautiful.
But it was the great Jeff Gorham from Ram High. So we're going to talk Ram High basketball with Coach Fletcher. The girls playing Saturday night, Ram High Arena. It's all brought to you by our good friends at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by great customer service and low prices. Get the flour and the mint on the way out. It's Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Ken Sporting Goods, more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, bringing you all of your sporting gear needs. We're talking about baseball bats and football helmets. Remember your Letterman's jacket? They'll bling it out too. KenSportingGoods.com is the website. Boost Performance Training in Corona with Coach Ray Bass. Listen, don't be confused. There's only one Boost, and there's only one Ray Bass. And if you go check out their strength and speed class, the first one is always absolutely free, but you got to say Jeff Gorham at the door. And Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road, where you can buy, trade, and finance. Make that car shopping experience easy and smooth. It can be a headache. You don't want it to be a headache. Man, they're like vultures. They fly on top of you on those car lots, but not at Catalano Motors, man. Nice and easy, I guarantee it. All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We'll talk more Cal Baptist basketball. Big win last night against Chaminade. So what does that mean for the Lancers going forward as we are coming down the home stretch of regular season play? We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
So you talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350.
play 60 because great things happen when we live united. Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Guys! Fellas, you think we could listen to the radio or something?
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
The difference between Jeff and I is I wear the vertical stripe. See? Got my new Quicksilver button-up shirt over here.
That's pretty nice.
Actually, I got it like months and months ago. I just never wore it. I finally took the tags off and wore it. Did I get the tags off? Yeah. Will you look me up and down right here?
Yeah,
I mean, like...
You look like a giddy schoolboy.
I don't know. Like, seriously, I don't know.
I think are you wearing that when you're covering your soccer sky?
I'm going to be wearing this. This is my soccer regalia over here. Yeah. But I go up and down the vertical stripe. You went horizontal.
Yeah. I didn't dress myself. Smedberg dressed me.
Old Smeddy Smed.
Oh, Smed.
Welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Talk a little basketball here in the Inland Empire before we move on to the Lakers and that new hot mixtape. Everyone's talking about it. Lonzo Ball dropping it today. He's rotten. Yeah, we'll get to it in a second. We're actually going to play a little bit of it.
Oh, good.
But wow, the Big West Conference, Jeff, is like the wild, wild west. Like there's no laws, nobody's safe. Like anything goes, every man for themselves. Like the Big West Conference for basketball is the wild, wild west. Hawaii, you're the basketball expert. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Hawaii was awful last night, and they still won on the road at Irvine.
Whoa, Hawaii wins. They shoot 12% in the second
3 baskets in the second half.
Oh, 3 for 24, I believe, or 3 for 20.
3 for 24.
They were 0 for 8 from behind the arc, but they made 20 of 24 free throws.
And they beat Irvine 62-61.
Unbelievable. Irvine, we've seen Irvine is so good at home, and those guards are amazing. But apparently, something was a little off last night because Hawaii went in and beat them.
The free throws and team defense, right? I mean, that has to be the indicator right there of that victory, because how can you only make 3 baskets in the second half and still win on the road in Big West Conference play?
Yeah, it's a shocker right there. That's one of those games that Irvine's going to go, oh, that could have cost us a seed in the Big West tournament.
Yeah, that was a real stinker, and it was bad for UC Riverside, too, because we actually wanted Irvine to beat Hawaii because we still feel like the Bows, the Rainbow Warriors, are within striking range. Like, UCR can still catch them in the Big West Conference standing, so we were hoping the Anteaters would take care of their own business on their own floor, and then we saw that.
You know what it was?
Did they play the Stones?
I don't think they did. I don't think they played the Stones, man. The Big West Anthem, if they weren't playing it, they weren't winning.
So that was a big stinker, but Davis did beat Cal Poly in triple overtime, which is good.
Whoa!
Because Cal Poly is one of those teams just above UCR, just like Cal State Northridge, just above the Highlanders. So it was good to see Cal Poly get another L. Davis hung an L on them.
It was a 3 OT-er?
Triple overtime.
Wow.
Big time.
Big time bingo.
92-84 was that final score. So Poly lost. That's good for UCR, but Hawaii won. That's bad for UCR. But in the end, as long as you can catch Northridge, it's all good, right? It's all good in the hood.
Yeah, we're going to be, Gazal's going to be asking if he could sit by us during the broadcast when we're at the Big West tournament.
Gazal's nuts. He did the game, right? Cal State Northridge, UCR on, what was it, Wednesday night? Wednesday night. He's down at Diablo Stadium doing the UCR baseball doubleheader opener today, which they just beat Wazoo 8-1.
Yeah.
And now he's coming back to Southern California for more Big West basketball tomorrow night. He's nuts.
Yeah, he's insane.
Speaking from going from Big West basketball to the Pac West, again, Cal Baptist, huge win last night against Chaminade, 90-76. Their final regular season home game outscored Chaminade 50-31 in the second half, and that was really the difference. The Lancers right now, Jeff, on this day, number 2 in the West region, only behind Western Oregon. But we're really hoping to see Cal Baptist finish up strong because they're already going to host the conference tournament.
Yes, they are.
But they can also host the West Regional. I mean, let's see, they're 18-1 at home this season. Without looking at your notes, look at me. Look at my eyes. Are you looking at my eyes? Don't look at your notes. Keep looking at my eyes. Who's the only team to beat CBU this season on their home floor? They're 18-1 at home this year. Don't look at my nose. Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes.
I don't know.
St. Martin's.
St. Martin's. I've never even heard of St. Martin's. That's a nice island in the South Pacific.
But it was way back in November. That seems like ages ago. This is a brand new CBU team. That was ages ago.
Let's just look at that real fast. Let's just look at our notes here. CBU is 18-1 at home. They played.
Who is this guy?
They have played 19 home
Have
games. That's right there.
Have they?
But look how
they have. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, how many games they played overall? They played 25 games. So they played 6 away games all season long?
19 at home. And 16 total, or 6 on the road. Yeah, so 20.
That's ridiculous.
25 total.
They're cheaters. CBU, our friends are cheaters.
So 19 games at home, and they get the conference tournament, and hopefully, fingers crossed, for our own selfish reasons, it'd be awesome to see the Lancers host the West Regional too.
It would be cool. Now, here's one thing I wanted to ask you: isn't Dixie State they're in the lead in the conference? Yeah,
that's kind of peculiar. Dixie State is first place in the Pac West, but number 4 in the West.
Yeah, and not ranked higher than CBU.
Nope. No.
A little strange.
Western Oregon is number 1 right now. I'm going to have to look up Western Oregon's schedule, see if they got any tough games coming up, because we want them to lose. Tim Hatch over here is going to do it. He's on it. Well, Western Oregon.
They only have 2 more road games, and then they're back at home for the tournament, their own tournament.
Yeah, a couple road games, then back home for the tournament, which will start the first week of March. March Madness is upon us for college basketball,
and we're going to try to get out there and watch a game and possibly do a show from there.
We're trying to bring out the whole Fox Sports IE tent and have a great radio show out front, get people all fired up for CBU basketball and the whole deal.
We can do remotes from anywhere. We're professionals.
We did it from Hawaii, half a world away. Come on.
We did it from Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. We did it from Irvine. We did it all over the place. We did it in Northridge.
We did.
We could go out in the parking lot and do a remote. That's how good we are.
We were that good.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, and congratulations to Torrey San Antonio, stud player from the Rancho Verde High School, just offered by Cal Baptist University. So, Jeff, this is a subject for another day, but I feel like CBU and UCR, they're going to be targeting a lot of the same guys now. You know what I mean? Maybe CBU was going for a different kind of guy in the past. Probably going for the same kind of guys, and now a lot of the same guys in the Inland Empire is going to see how that kind of works out going forward.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, right now, CBU has the hands-on favorite to get these guys, because right now, who's going to be UC Riverside's coach next year?
Yeah, it's up in the air.
They've got to start. I mean, do you recruit if you're UC Riverside, or do you not recruit? I mean, it's a tough thing, especially for Coach Bell, because he's got to get out on the road and try to get these guys signed, or UC Riverside might not have any players incoming freshmen next year.
You're absolutely right. So Western Oregon, the one team above CBU right now in the West Regional, because, again, we want the West Regional to be at CBU, but they're going to have Western Oregon lose some games. They're 24-1 overall in the season. These guys are pretty good. Let's see who they still have left to play on the season. Let's see. They're going to wrap up, it looks like, with Central Washington.
Oh, yeah, they'll beat them.
Western Washington.
Oh, they might beat them, too.
Simon Fraser, which is Canada.
Oh, Simon.
Do they even play basketball in Canada?
They play hockey.
So, yeah, and then they have their conference tournament up there in Anchorage, Alaska. The GNAC, which used to be, that was the league, the conference that Humboldt State was in for some sports, but now they're in the CC2A. But anyways, yeah, so that's Western Oregon, the one team that's directly above UCR right now. Or I'm sorry, UCBU in the West Regional rankings. First one just came out, CBU number 2, Western Oregon number 1. When we come back, I know you guys have all been waiting for it, the moment of truth. We're going to hear Lonzo Ball rap his title track, LeVar. That's next. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
And one time at band camp, we weren't supposed to have pillow fights, but we had a pillow fight, and it was...
close my eyes, I see this thing. It's like this big sign. And the name is in like bright blue neon lights with like purple outline. And this name is just so bright and so sharp that the sign, it just blows up because the name is just so powerful.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Let me see you go back.
Welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. I'm Pep Fernandez. That's Jeff Gorham and Greg Holla holding it down here on a Friday. So much to get to, including it's All-Star Weekend in the NBA, right?
It is.
But I'm not real into it. There's no Lakers. There's no Clippers. Just not into it. But this makes everything better because we've got Lonzo Ball dropping his album or the mixtape or whatever you call that.
What?
And it's really good, Jeff. I think you're really going to like it.
Let's hear it. I'm ready.
So this is the title track named after his dad, Jeff's favorite person in the world.
Larry.
It's simply called LeVar. So here's a sample of Lonzo Ball just spitting it at the mic.
Speak it into existence. Only one person ready for this. It's
Larry,
that ball
the
boy.
remix.
I know I must be a genius to plan it this way. His number's always been number 2, and guess where he going? Number 2. To the Lakers, baby. Here we go.
Here we go. It's for you, IE.
I'm gonna
from Chino Hills, man.
Ever since a child, your boy been a star. Light skin, colored eyes, I've always looked apart. People looking crazy, asking is it hard? I just laugh, cause I know they talking about LeVar. Y'all can hate him, that's my pops though. First one that's there for me once it got cold.
That's right.
Listen to the story, not just how it's told. Yelling he the devil, but yeah, you the one who stole your soul. Never turn road. Just had to maneuver through a few cones. Jewelers eyeing us, randos, CO2s by the shoes, and the sandals.
CO2s by the shoes.
Man, I hope the brand goes. Pops working every week, doing different shows. That's right. Firing up the fans, firing up the foes. They're just a bunch of candles.
All right, Greg, that's good. That's good.
Stop it.
That's good.
Oh my gosh, that was rotten.
Let's have a moment of silence for hip hop.
Did he just kill hip hop in one song, Greg?
Nas said hip hop is dead.
Wait, Greg, nobody knows music in this room like Greg Holla. Like, honestly, Greg, like you just heard that. I'll give you my opinion on it, but I want to hear Greg's first because obviously he knows more music than I'll ever know.
You're the Dick Clark of the room.
This guy needs to stick to basketball.
Are you being nice?
Stick to basketball.
Can I just say this? He's talked about he was like good looking or whatever in the beginning. He's light-eyed, light-skinned, light eyes, whatever. He looks like he just walked out of the boiler room. He should have one of those red sweaters and a hat and razor fingers. He looks exactly like Freddy Krueger. Not a good-looking guy. I do not want to hear from this guy. I want the Lakers to buy him out and get out. Move. Go to Lithuania, you ding-dong. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the Lonzo Ball experiment. Pep, I'm done.
Buy him out.
I'm done. I'm over it. I'm a Laker fanatic, and I'm telling you right now, I am done. Get rid of Lonzo Ball. Get rid of him.
Greg, let me ask Greg this. Does it sound like he's just reading? It sounds just monotone, and he's just reading off a piece of paper, which I could do, you could do. Well, Jeff might be able to do. Cullen could do.
No, Cullen couldn't. He doesn't listen to rap.
It's just like he's reading like, I'm super monotone by my shoes, fools.
ZO2s, blue.
My ZO2s by my shoes. My dad and my foes.
He has nothing to talk about. Like, really, he has no, like...
He hasn't done anything.
Exactly.
He shoots cross-handed.
Like, honestly, has anyone seen someone in public wearing the big baller shoes? Like, anyone? I haven't seen it.
I don't even think they can be delivered.
Oh, that's right. They can't even deliver on them.
Hey, did you hear this?
Yeah, Greg cut them off at the pass.
Did you hear this? Okay, the people that were ordering the shoes were writing to the Los Angeles Lakers in droves complaining about that they did not.
The Lakers were like, dude, we don't care.
That's exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I think the Lakers, I think everybody is getting fed up. He wanted 125 luxury seats on lower concierge.
LeVar Ball wanted it?
No.
What?
Lonzo did. Lonzo wanted 125 seats for his extended family to every single home game, and he wanted it for free. The Lakers charged him $125,000. Woo! They said, we're not going to do it. We can't give you 125 seats every single game, so they charged him.
Well, that's all right. He's selling all those shoes. He'll make it back.
Unbelievable.
Right?
I mean, honest to goodness.
He just released LeVar. I mean, he's going to make a bunch of money off that. He's fine. He's good.
I mean, and if you're turning me, who is a lifelong Laker fanatic, back in the old days, the old Magic days, the old days of playing at the fabulous Forum, and you bring in a guy like this who is just disrupting everything. It's tarnished the name. I mean, if I'm a Boston,
they're kind of like a joke, right?
It is. If I'm a Boston Celtics fanatic, there is no way in heck I would let anybody come in and tarnish my brand. And I feel that he's really tarnished my brand, which is the Los Angeles Lakers.
And I think you're representative of a lot of Laker fans out there saying, you know what, we've got a lot of pride. There's a lot of tradition with the purple and gold. You're going to let this guy come in here and think he's the shot caller and he's going to dictate like who's going to be on the team. And what did he say today? You told me he got off the plane and said, I'm not afraid of Magic.
I'm not afraid of what Magic has to say. I'm going to continue to say what I'm saying. And it just makes me think.
It's like a game of chicken. You know what I mean? Like, really, like he's barreling down the road saying, this is how we're going to do it. I know I'm not in the Lakers front office, but I'm still going to call the shots. And now the Lakers are coming, the other opposite direction. Who's going to give way first?
Okay, let's just go back a few years. Do you remember when Shaquille O'Neal was playing in training camp, and they're in Hawaii, and he yells up to Jerry Buss, "Pay me." You know what happened? Got traded because the Lakers in the old days would have not put up with any of this nonsense. And I hope that Jeannie Buss, the family Busses, Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka are going to do something, because I'm so sick and tired. It's fun to talk about the crazy, wacky things that LeVar says, the things he says about his sons, and it's good fodder for radio and TV. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sick and tired of it affecting the Lakers, which I really, really care about.
We are part of the problem. We're talking about it right now. We are part of the problem.
I know, but it's so fun to talk about because there's such dinglings.
Because there's people like you who are genuine Laker fans, and the team, I'm the resident Laker hater on the show, and that's fine. But there's actually signs that the Lakers are improving. They're getting better. They've got a good young nucleus. They're going to have a lot of money to spend out there and bring some guys in. Like, if you're a Laker fan, I'd be really excited about the future. And then you got the circus coming to town with the Ball family. It's like, dude, sever that relationship. Keep moving forward. There's a good thing going already.
Yeah, when did the Lakers peak this season without Lonzo Ball?
Yeah.
He still hasn't played. You bring in Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas isn't playing, which shows me that the Lakers are sold on their youth. But how much? I mean, you can get a veteran point guard to come in and do the same exact thing Lonzo did, except have a better jump shot for less money
and no drama.
No drama.
I mean, which dad is going to be out there saying, "Oh, Magic Johnson, I'm going to call the shots, and this is how the Lakers are going to look next year, and this is who's going to be on the team." Remember, even going back a couple of weeks ago from Lithuania, he said, "Okay, the Lakers next year are going to look like this. It's going to be LeBron, Lonzo, and Jello Ball, and two guys to rebound." That's what he said. Like, I'm not making this up. Like, that's exactly what he said. How the Lakers are going to be next year. That's going to be your starting five. Lonzo will pass the ball. Jello and LeBron will do all the scoring. You just need two other guys, because obviously you need five on the court, right? Two other guys to rebound the basketball. That's it.
And I think this sets a bad precedent in all of sport. If a parent can come in and do this to NBA, hold these guys under the gun to say, what's going to say that this won't happen in college football? Well, say it going into the NFL. What parent? I mean, if the parents can rule this or run this, who's to say it's not going to happen in football, in baseball? Baseball, you don't hear much about in college baseball, but you hear a lot about it in pros. Guys are going to say, I'm not going to play for this team, and it's going to be dictated by parents. And these young men need to step up and be men and start making their own decisions and cut the fat out of your life, which is Lonzo Ball.
All I got to say, Notorious Big said it best. Money and blood don't mix.
It really doesn't, and it should be. I think the biggest thing would be for Lonzo to save face is Lonzo to separate himself from Dad and say, "Look, I'm going to start making my own decisions. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this," and start being a man and making his own decisions. You can't be a follower.
But he's got his dad's back, obviously. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, if you said, okay, are you going to pick your family? You're going to pick the Lakers. He's obviously following his dad, which in the long run, if he wants to play in the NBA, if he wants to stay on the Lakers, that was the wrong choice. But ultimately, you know what? You can choose whatever you want, but there's consequences for every decision you make, and that's going to be the consequence. If he's following his dad, he's got his dad's back. He's not going to speak out against the Lakers. He might run himself out of Los Angeles. He might run himself out of the NBA. Who's going to want that? What NBA team is going to say, yeah, you know what? We'll bring in Lonzo. He's actually pretty good, and we'll just deal with his dad. The dad's not going to go away. It's not like, oh, you know what? I talked to my dad. He's going to be fine. He's going to be quiet. Nah, man. You think he's going to change?
No.
He's not going to change.
And just to think about it, when he requests 125 seats for extended family every single game, that just tells you the kind of problems and headaches you're dealing with. That's the MC Hammer method. Remember, MC Hammer went broke because he had all those people that were around him.
Big entourage.
Yeah, this is just not helping. And honest to goodness, as much as I might like Lonzo, and I don't even know if I like him because we haven't heard anything from him. We haven't heard.
Yeah, we heard from him. Hey, we heard from him.
How many tickets again?
125.
Who has 125 extended family or just family members that would go to a game every? Like
big baller, man. That's a big baller family.
Pep Fernandez.
Oh.
Can we cue up Lonzo again, man? It's been a long time since I heard him last, and I'm really missing it because again, his new single "LeVar" came out today, and it's really popping off.
I know I must be a genius to plan it this way. His number's always been number 2, and guess where he going? Number 2. Jeez. To the Lakers, baby. Here we go.
What?
I think that was the best part of the whole track right there.
On my foes and my shows, and my dad and my foes.
If you're a Laker fan, let me know. Do you agree with me or think I'm stupid? If you think I'm stupid, I don't care.
Can they agree with you and think you're stupid all at the same time?
You can do that, but I'm telling you, I'm over it. I'm over the whole Lonzo.
I just laugh because I'm a Laker fan, and I agree with you, Jeff. I believe his talent hasn't matched what we expected.
Can't shoot.
Well, I won't say the Sacramento Kings, but let's say the Phoenix Suns. Let's say the Charlotte Hornets. Bobcats.
Are they Bobcats or Hornets?
They're Hornets, yeah. They're Hornets now. They used to be the Bobcats, which was a bad choice. Let's say one of these random East Coast, let's say Orlando. Is there a team out there that would say, you know what? Attendance is sagging. We're not relevant. Our highlights don't even get on Fox Sports FS1 at night. Nobody talks about us. If we bring in Lonzo Ball, we're going to get attention because his dad's going to be running his mouth the whole time. We'll be back in the headlines. People will be coming to the game.
Raptors. Get him out of the country.
Send him to Canada?
Send him to Canada.
But you know what I mean? Like, is there a team out there that would take a flyer? I feel like Lonzo's untradeable. So I feel like they're going to have to sever that relationship, cut their losses, buy him out, cut him, whatever it takes. Just let him go. Maybe he'll find another NBA team. Maybe he doesn't. But is there another NBA team, Jeff, you think out there that would say, hey, we stink? Nobody's talking about us. We can't even get our highlights on television. If we bring in Lonzo Ball, we bring in the whole Ball family. We bring in the whole circus. The bearded lady, the Wolf Man, everybody. The whole circus comes to town, including LeVar Ball, and we're relevant again.
I don't know if anybody does that. I mean, let's just think of we have a past, recent, most valuable player, Derrick Rose, who was waived out of the NBA. He is out of the NBA right now.
Yeah.
He's a better ball player right now than Lonzo Ball. And if he's not able to play, and he's kind of a headache, he disappears and so forth, I just don't see it. I'm starting to I think I'm speaking for everybody, Joe Public, who are Laker fans. I think we're getting sick of it.
I think the Lakers, behind closed doors, regret drafting Lonzo Ball.
You have to, because they drafted better outside of Lonzo Ball. Kyle Kuzma's a better player than Lonzo Ball. Brandon Ingram is a better player than Lonzo Ball. The other Hart is a much better player than Lonzo Ball. These guys are better. They drafted okay. They shouldn't feel bad. Sometimes you make a bad pick. Just happened to be a second pick.
Number 2 overall.
But if you can get rid of him.
Sam Bowie.
Yeah, Sam Bowie.
Hey
ho! Yeah.
Just get fired up.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Anybody that agrees with me or disagrees, let me know, please. I'm curious.
No, I'm just, the Kings got De'Aaron Fox. I know De'Aaron Fox and Lonzo Ball were compared quite a bit going into the draft. There's a lot of guys out there they could have selected that could have been one of the building pieces going forward. But Lonzo Ball, even if he was good enough, let's say he was pretty decent, not enough to want all the drama that goes with it, having his dad and the family around. Like, it's not even worth it. I mean, even if you were LeBron James, I'd be like, you know what? You guys still think about it. He's Lonzo Ball, though.
I would trade for Markelle Fultz.
Fultz is hurt, isn't he?
And he can't even shoot. I would trade for him. I'd just say straight trade.
Anthony Bennett. You will redraft Anthony Bennett out of, where is he, Turkey or Greece or whatever? We found him somewhere.
Yeah, we'll just take him. We'll trade him to Turkey. And for a bag of balls and maybe a Slurpee machine. That would be cool. I'm going to trade a bag of balls, Lonzo Ball, Slurpee machine for Anthony Bennett. Get out.
Done deal.
Done.
Magic, I know you listen to our show. We already figured out the trade, so go ahead and just pull the trigger on that one, make this happen. All right, so there's Lonzo Ball, there's the Lakers. When we come back, we'll get you all set for the 60th running of the Daytona 500. Coming up on Sunday, the field is set, the front row is set. Who will lead the field to green? We'll talk about that. And a little bit later in the show, again, Bert Esposito, Temecula Valley head football coach, also the president of the Southern California Football Coaches Association, talking about that new proposed bill to ban tackle football at the youth level. So we'll talk about that and more high school hoops. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
1350 AM KUBE Riverside.
Doesn't it look like I am ready? I am always ready. I have been ready since first call. I am ready. Roll.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
It is a Fab Friday here on the Fox Sports.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
1350, the Inland Sports Show. I'm Jeff Gorham. He's Pep Fernandez. He is out on the road, getting ready to cover a big CIF match. Pep, are you there?
Hey, Jeff. So, yeah, we're deep into the CIF Southern Section playoffs now. We've had the first round games. Some teams going now to the second round. So, soccer, water polo. We've got so many great teams in the Inland Empire. So right now, we're going to do some Indian Springs boys soccer live on IEMG TV. And think about this. So Indian Springs last year, they did not win the CIF Southern Section title, but they did win the Southern California Championship, which is even bigger. So Coyotes trying to take care of some unfinished business from last year. They lost in the shootout to Citrus Hill in that CIF championship game in Corona. That was Division 5, but the Coyotes were so good that they were bumped up to Division 4, so they're going to be taking on Knights from Palmville, and this will be their first test as they're trying to win a Southern Section title in Division 4 and also defend their Southern California Regional Championship.
Well, talking about all those little guys running around on a field playing kickball, let's transfer that over to something that runs and has been running for 60 years, the Daytona 500, and it's this Sunday, Pep.
Yeah, I'm fired up, man. It's like the Super Bowl of NASCAR, even though it's the very first race of the season. It kind of kicks everything off here, which is awesome because I know a lot of folks out there, they like the NFL and they like NASCAR. So the NFL season ends, we got the Super Bowl, and then it goes right into NASCAR. So the big race, 60th running of the Great American Race. This weekend, this Sunday, Daytona 500, and on the front row, it's going to be 24-year-old Alex Bowman along with Denny Hamlin on the outside. And the dual race winners yesterday was Brian Blaney and Chase Elliott, so they will start in row 2. So it's always good to start up front, right? You don't want to start all the way in the back of the pack, but it's always good to start up front. But a lot of things can change over the course of the race. But so that'll be your starting 4 at least. That's how they'll lead the field to green on Sunday for the Great American Race. And Chase Elliott, you know, these NASCAR families, man, it's just like one on to the father and the son, and they got cousins who race. So Chase Elliott, the son of the great Bill Elliott, awesome Bill from Dawsonville. So Chase Elliott's the guy who's won the race in the past, and one of the guys I would watch for. Although if you're asking me who's going to win, I'm going to go with my guy, Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick is your guy to pick. You know who my guy to pick is?
Who?
Besides Lightning McQueen, I'd have to go Danica Patrick. Because Danica Patrick, hey, she's dating Rogers, man. How can she's got to win something, and why not win in her swan song as a racer? Why not her go out and get the Daytona 500 and win it for the ladies out there?
Yeah, that's a pretty that's a power couple right there. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers quarterback, and Danica Patrick together. And again, we were joking around that maybe we'll see Aaron Rodgers when we go out to Auto Club Speedway. Maybe he'll be hanging around Southern California, you know, kind of following Danica on the all the different NASCAR stops along the way, because he won't have OTAs, he won't have mini camps until like April, after all the NFL draft and all that stuff completed. So I don't know, there's a chance, because March 17th is when NASCAR comes to Fontana. There's a chance we could see Aaron Rodgers hanging out.
You got to put your money on Denny Hamlin. That's my guy. Definitely going to go all the way.
Denny Hamlin, who won this race 2 years ago. He's a good one, too. He pilots the 11 FedEx car.
How about Chip Hicks? Chip Hicks. You know, or Chick Hicks. You know who Chick Hicks is?
No, I don't like McQueen. But.
Yeah, well, remember he was his nemesis that they tied.
He had the mustache.
He had the mustache, and it was tied in the Piston Cup, and they had to go all the way to the Los Angeles to the Memorial Coliseum where they had their big race off for the Piston Cup Championship. So I'm going to go with Chick Hicks as my hope and my pick for the 60th Daytona 500.
As long as Mater's on your pit crew.
I got no, he's much of a ding dong.
Hey, what was that Cars 3? Because I just saw Cars 3 on Netflix. I just watched it for the first time the other day. Which one was that?
It was Car 3. That's Chick Hicks. And it's voiced, I should say driven by the guy who was Batman. What's his name? McKean? Wait. The guy who was not Michael McKean. That's Lenny or Squiggy or one of those guys. No, the guy that played Batman.
Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton was the voice of Chick Hicks, and I picked him to win the 60th Daytona 500 this weekend. Maybe with an outside shot of Lightning McQueen.
Well, Lightning McQueen is always a favorite, even though he's getting a little long in the tooth, right? But who's that new young gun that he's training up? That the new girl car. What was her name?
That was a dumb movie. Cars 3 was rotten. I couldn't even. It was unwatchable.
You know what? I thought it was a lot better than number 2.
Yeah, number 2. They were doing espionage and bombs and stuff. It was like James Bond. I don't want to see the. What was the name of the truck?
Mater.
I don't want to see Toe Mater eating sushi and stuff. This is just dumb.
Mater was in the bathroom a lot in number 2.
Yeah, that was just dumb. Very dumb. Hey, I have a quick question about the Daytona 500 though, Pep. Maybe you can clear this up. And let's get off the Lightning McQueen stuff. They based the order on the races, the pre-races that they have during the week.
Yeah, so, I mean, the front row is the traditional qualifying, right? The one car on the track, and the fastest car is going to start up front, and that was 24-year-old Alex Bowman. So that's how they set that. But, yeah, the rest of the field, over the front row, Denny Hamlin's going to start up front on the outside. But the rest of the field, yeah, they take those dual races, and based on how you finish in the duels is how they're going to have the starting grid, the lineup, come Sunday.
Okay, and then where does Lightning McQueen come in?
He gets the pass. He just gets to get in. He doesn't need to qualify. They just stick him in there.
Now, another quick question. When you do qualify, how many chances do you get? Because I'm a novice to the NASCAR, but, like I said, we're going to try to get out there this year and go to the out here at Fontana Motor Speedway and watch that race. But do they have a certain amount of races that they have before they can qualify?
So they have So usually all you do is have qualifying. There's a day. It's usually on Friday before a Sunday race, and you have qualifying, and that's how they set the field. But Daytona's a little bit different because it's the big race to kick everything off. It's the most prestigious race in all the stops. So they do it a little bit different. They try to build up some hype. They had the Clash, which was kind of like a practice race, and now they had the duels last night to set the rest of the field. So Daytona week is a little bit different than everything else you're going to see in the typical NASCAR season. So, again, you can't look at this and be like, oh, this is how they do it every week, because it's not. They usually just have the one day, normally Fridays, and you have all-day qualifying, and that's how you normally set the field.
And we have no Dale Earnhardt Jr. this year. Who's riding in his car now?
Yeah, you know what? Because Alex Bowman is going to be behind the wheel of the 88 car now, the formerly of Dale Jr., Little E. But, yeah, again, there's some guys that are still hanging around, like Kevin Harvick, like Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin. Those guys are still around and still some of the favorites to win it. The Busch brothers, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch. But a lot of the guys that we grew up with, Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, they've moved on. And this new generation of NASCAR guys like Chase Elliott, like Ryan Blaney, like Alex Bowman, who's only 24 years old, Brad Keselowski, some of those guys who are still pretty young, but they've already established big names in NASCAR. Joey Logano, obviously, he's another big name. So a lot of these young guys are fun to watch, but, going into Daytona 500, I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick. He's won it before in the past, and he knows how to get around that track pretty well. He's a seasoned veteran.
Hey, Pep, last Saturday, I was at a qualifier. It was a monster truck qualifier. Does Gravedigger have a shot at this?
Hey, no, Gravedigger's going to start on the outside. Bigfoot took the pole.
Bigfoot. Have you ever gone to one of those monster truck rallies, Pep? I know you've covered everything. Have you ever covered one of those?
Jeff, listen, I grew up and did local sports in areas that would be considered backwoods. I did monster trucks. I did nitro speedboat racing. I did demolition derbies. I did rodeos. I did all of it.
Wait a sec. You've done nitro boat racing?
Wow.
Yeah, you know what? I went out there and I covered, it was called the Nitro Nationals, and I followed this guy along. He was the pilot of this boat. I mean, they go super fast. I forget how fast, but it was over 100 miles per hour. And the boat was called Plum Crazy. I still remember it. And he piloted the Plum Crazy. And he's like, you know, people say I'm plumb crazy because who would be going that fast over the water? It's very, very dangerous. But again, some of these guys are just built and wired that way that they love that adrenaline rush, going that fast.
Did you just call a guy that drives a boat a pilot?
I did.
Because I'm a seaman. I've told you this. I've been able to drive yachts. I can drive boats. I have shown you guys my prowess as far as it being a ship's captain. I've never been called a pilot. Since I have a license to drive a boat, should I call myself a pilot?
Yes, you can. So if you drive a boat or you drive a stock car, you can consider yourself a pilot as well.
Yes! I've always wanted to be a pilot, so when I go into a bar and I'm there to pick up the chicks, they can go, hey, what do you do? I'm a pilot.
Well, what about manning a canoe?
Manning a canoe?
Are you a pilot if you man a canoe?
If you're rowing a canoe, can you call yourself a pilot?
It's a boat.
No, you need a motor. But, Jeff, if you want, I'll get you some of those little wings. The next time I'm on an airplane, I'll get you those little wings like a little captain. You can wear those around.
Chicks dig pilots. And they dig me because I can drive a boat, my friend. I have a license to drive a boat. So apparently I can fly a boat.
That's right.
Well, Pep, we're going to take a short break here, and then you're going to stay on the line, and we are going to talk some high school basketball and the matchups that are going to go on tonight here in the Inland Empire. Are you ready to talk some high school hoops at the end of the break?
I have lived for this one moment alone.
Oh, yes, that one shining moment, my friend. That one shining moment. Well, we will be back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350, and we will talk high school hoops after the break.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
My name's Mater. Mater? Yeah, like Tuh Mater, but without the tuh. What's your name?
You don't know my name?
No, I know your name. Is your name Mater too?
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
So you talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking news, exclusive interviews, and big-name guests in the IE.
This report brought to you by In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out Burger, where each burger has been made the same way since the very first one hit the grill back in 1948. Fresh, made to order, and with only the highest quality ingredients. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger is all about.
The Inland Empire's home for all things IE just got even better. Introducing the award-winning Inland Sports Show with Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
Your local sports leader in the Inland Empire. Fox Sports IE 1350.
Ian Ralston was a combat medic who was injured in Iraq. When I met Ian, I knew we had to help him get his housing grant, an auto grant, and every benefit to live as normal a life as possible. My name is Jason Stevenson, and I work for Paralyzed Veterans of America.
PVA has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get the care and benefits they've earned, changing lives, building futures. To learn more, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Hey, Dad. How do you throw a curveball? How do you build a fort? How do refrigerators run? How do fish learn how to swim?
Kids ask a lot of questions.
How high can you jump?
But you don't have to know every answer.
How many phone numbers are there?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
How do cell phones work?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
What's electricity?
They just need you.
What's the moon made of?
For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
As I went through school, one giant question loomed over me. What did I want to be? First, I had to decide what I wanted to make. I wanted to make more, so I became a teacher. Now I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy, and giving up impossible. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach.
Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
I'm John, a volunteer at United Way. I'm here at Lincoln Elementary School to find out what this place needs. Who knows better about what kids need than kids, right? Let's ask them.
Monsters! Lasers! A pool! Another guinea pig! More lasers! Sprinkles!
I was thinking more spinach at lunchtime and maybe more exercise.
Nah.
Because understanding is everything. Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
Sherry, can you do this? Rolling with the homies.
Rolling with the homies.
Yeah, let's do it. You ready?
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Rock you like a hurricane, baby. It is a free, fun Friday here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. Pep is on the way to a big kickball matchup. We are here. We are going to talk high school hoops because tonight we have second-round matchups, and there's a couple good ones out there, Pep Fernandez.
Yeah, there's some great matchups, and I'm always proud of the Inland Empire because we really hold it down. If you look at Division I, I think of outside of Temecula Valley, like we had a pretty good run in Division I. We got North, we got Rancho Verde, Centennial, Roosevelt. I think there's one more. Who am I missing? I think there's one other school in Division I. Maybe not.
No, you got. In fact, at tonight's matchup, we have a Most of the teams are on the road because our inland teams did win the first round at home. So a lot of teams on the road. John W. North tonight at Long Beach Poly. A very good matchup. These two teams have a long history, don't they, Pep?
Yeah, they do. I remember, again, we touched on it a little bit the other day, but those the Team named Martin, Christian Gray teams, they were really good. They had such a great run at JW North when DK was running the show over there. And they had some real battles with the Jackrabbits, not only the CIF Southern Section playoffs, but also the state playoffs. I remember they met a couple times, one of them going down at the Pyramid, and it was like heavyweight fights. I mean, that level of basketball, you're not going to see it very often. I know North has a good team this year, obviously, and Coach Marti's done a great job with his Huskies, but that team that they had at North about 4 years ago, man, they were really good. That was a really high level of basketball. It was a lot of fun to watch. I remember seeing North against Long Beach Poly at the Pyramid. I remember North taking on, I think it was Redondo Union at Citizens Business Bank Arena. North has just had a really strong run, but the only difference between those North teams from the past and this year's team is they don't have a lot of size. They go up tempo, they score a lot of points, and it's because Coach Mike Marti is kind of using what he's got. And he's got some really athletic, quick kids, and they're just going to score a lot of points and play up and down the floor quickly.
Yeah, in fact, this is really the first year that, Barty's really kind of put in a version of the system where they like to get, run a lot in transition, try to get a quick three first, and then use their athleticism to either press. But they're playing a lot more zone. I talked to Coach Barty. He's never been a zone guy. He's always been a man-to-man guy, a flex half-court offense guy. He's finally trying something different, like you said, because he has different players. He doesn't have that real one big guy that dominates the paint. He has a lot of guards, and he's kind of running the system, and it really suits him. And that will be a good test tonight because Long Beach Poly is similar. Long Beach Poly is notorious for having great athletes. Long Beach Poly North could be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think this is a North team that has, I want to say, overachieved. Like you even talked to, when we talked to Yancey Dodson from Riverside Poly yesterday, the Inland Valley League was kind of up for grabs as Rancho Verde, Poly, North, they're all very close talent-wise. But North was able to emerge and be that team to win the Inland Valley League. And if you're Riverside Poly, and I know they're still alive in their playoff bracket, they had to get past a couple Division I schools. Rancho Verde's a D1 school, and so is JW North.
Yeah, in fact, we were talking about that Riverside Poly. Riverside Poly's at Crescenta Valley this evening at Crescenta Valley. Very good team on the road. North, or like I said, Poly feels that they can beat almost anybody above them. They're seeded 5th, but the number 1 team was knocked off, he said, earlier in the week. So Poly has a shot to go pretty far as well.
Yeah, these, again, I feel like a broken record here because I always bring up the new playoff formation, with the competitive equity. But anything can happen, especially even in these first-round games. Teams are getting knocked off, and it kind of opens the doors for maybe a 2 or a 3 or a 4 team to make a run all the way to the championship. So Riverside Poly, I guess the best thing that could happen to them, this is a really good team, and they could get hot and make a run here, especially with that number 1 out.
That's true. Well, let's continue on to Division I. Centennial is at Alamany. Centennial's always good. I mean, they arguably are one of the tougher leagues and divisions in all of high school basketball here in not just Southern California, but all of California and among some of the best in the nation. Centennial led by Josh Giles. They have a shot to go pretty far this year, and it's they weren't tested other than Roosevelt in their Big 8 league.
Yeah, and this is a team that I would say the best is still yet to come because they're very young. So for them to win the Big 8 league, get to the playoffs this year, whatever happens in the playoffs this year will just be something to build upon going forward because, again, they're very young. And they can still make a run. And if you're curious at home, if Centennial and Roosevelt were able to advance to the championship, that's where they would see each other. They're on opposite sides of the bracket. You have to think that the CIF Southern Section did that on purpose because, again, bitter rivals in the same league. They have so much history. They played 5 times last year head-to-head. But this year, if we see them again, it would be in that Division I championship game because they are on opposite sides of the bracket.
Yeah, and you're talking about that opposite side of the bracket. They're going to face Villa Park Roosevelt's, they were Division I state champions last year, but Villa Park has had a long history of high school basketball.
Villa Park's kind of a perennial champion out of that league in Orange County. They play with El Medina, Canyon High, Foothill, out in that area. Kevin Reynolds is the coach. Been the coach a long time. They've won a couple CIF championships.
Yeah, you know what? I remember now. I think, gosh, what was the year? I want to say maybe 2012 when North played Villa Park for the CIF Southern Section Championship. I think it was like the Dorian Butler team.
Yes.
Like he was like their big star. I remember they played Villa Park. Again, Villa Park's another one of those programs like a North, like a Poly, where year in and year out, it's not a rebuild. Every year you know what you're going to get. It's just a strong program year after year after year. So even the first round games are tough. Even the second round games are tough. Some of these games feel like semifinals or championship games, and they're only second round contests.
Yeah, and talking about another team out of that great Inland Valley League is Rancho Verde. They're going to go against a very, very good, a very well documented champion. They had some great players come out of Harvard Westlake High School. Rancho Verde is going to be could be victim of this competitive equity because they had to jump up a division.
Yeah, remember last year, APU was the site, and the Rancho Verde, Intern Cullen was there. He's sitting right next to me right now. He was there, and they won the CIF Southern Section Division 1A championship. But now there's just a Division 1. There's no 1AA, there's no 1A, it's Division 1. So Rancho Verde hanging with the big boys this year, and we'll see if they can get the job done. That's going to be a tough task to go up to that place because, yeah, you're right. They're good year after year after year. And I know my friend Mike Clan, who's the sports anchor at KEYT up in Santa Barbara, Harvard Westlake falls into their coverage area, and he sent me a video, and, man, they love their basketball up there. They pack that gym. It gets loud. It gets nuts, and they're always good year after year.
Yeah, well, talking about that potential Roosevelt Rancho Verde quarterfinal, both teams have to win in order to make that happen, but it could be a good one in the Inland Empire in the Division I for high school basketball.
Yeah, that's the one where you got to put your bib on. That's going to be a messy, big battle, but that's a huge if, too, because Roosevelt and Rancho Verde have huge games tonight. So that's a huge, huge if, but if it did happen, yeah, that's the one that if you're going to go buy a ticket, that's the one you go to. That'd be a fantastic game. It'd be an all-Mustang battle, Jeff. Mustangs versus Mustangs.
Sweet. Well, let's head on over to Division II AA, a team you're very familiar with. Cajon is playing Cathedral Catholic at Cajon. Cajon's really playing on all strides. I mean, Jeremiah Martin last game had 47. The football superstar going to Texas A&M showed that he can play basketball. But what are your thoughts on this Cajon Cathedral Catholic game?
You know what? I'm never going to pick against Cajon, especially when they're at home. In fact, I'm going to go see them later tonight. I'm going to go check out that game. Something about that gym, like it's very well lit. There's something about that gym, and they shoot extremely well inside there. And when we had the Merman, Randy Murray, on our show earlier this week, the head coach of the Cowboys, he even said when you have guys like Jeremiah Martin, guys like Jared Hyder, Deshaun Washington, it makes his job a lot easier. He looks like a genius because they're going out there, they're blowing everybody out, and Jeremiah Martin's dropping 47 on other teams. Like he looks like a great coach, and he is. But he says these players are just making him look really good because he's got a really talented team this year.
Well, a lot of people are picking Cajon to go all the way, including us, and we're hoping they have a good run. Let's move on down to the Division 3A. Number 1 ranked Notre Dame at Arroyo Grande. What are your thoughts on this game?
You know what? Notre Dame's the number 1 team, so obviously they're the team to beat, right? But going on that long road trip, Arroyo Grande, Jeff, we passed Arroyo Grande when we went up to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Like, it's way up there. That's always a tricky game when you get out of your schedule, you're getting on a bus, you're leaving early to get up there. Like, that could be a tricky game. But, again, Notre Dame's number 1 for a reason. I feel like the Titans are still going to come back home with a big win.
Hey, real quick, Pep, what time do you think Notre Dame would have had to leave to get out there? And, like, I used to like to get to the game about 5 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game to get in there, get loose. And what time do you think Notre Dame would have had to leave for that?
Yeah, well, let me tell you this, because we're battling through traffic just to get to Indian Springs for this live soccer game. Because it's a 3-day weekend, right? We got President's Day coming up, and the freeways are an absolute mess. If I was Notre Dame, And I would, like, once the kids got to school at 8 a.m., I would just get on the road. I'd rather get up there, go get a meal, relax, and just chill out. I would not want to be stressed out battling traffic trying to get up there on President's Day weekend. I would have left as soon as the kids got to school this morning.
Well, Pep, we have one more game we're gonna talk about here before you're up against a break. Is Division 4A Flint Ridge Prep is playing at number 1 Hillcrest, and number 1 Hillcrest, I think they have a pretty fair chance of going all the way and winning their first CIF championship.
Yeah, when we saw that opening round matchup, Jeff, he said, you know what? Heritage isn't bad. They might give Hillcrest the game. And you know what? The Trojans look really good. Intern Cullen was out there. He shot some video. And the big man, who was a former Marines recruiting station Riverside Athlete of the Week, Victor Obioha, had some big-time dunks. So if you're looking for the Riverside TV highlight reel, it's out there. It's on YouTube right now. And Big Vic, man, he had some huge dunks. For that division, for that level, he's a mismatched nightmare. There's not a lot of guys like him, that tall, that athletic, at that division, and he's a game changer.
Yes, he is. And Jackson Woods got himself a pretty good ball club. This might be his only window in the near future to win a CIF championship, and he's got to really take advantage of it. Well, Pep, I know you have a big game to go cover. Keep us posted. Let us know the score. We'll put it out there on the Inland Sports Show. We will see you tomorrow at the UC Riverside game versus Hawaii at 7:30. We will have the call on GoHighlanders.com. Thanks a lot, Pep.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Pep. All right, when we come right back, we will be joined by head coach of Temecula Valley, the great Bert Esposito. We're going to talk about that bill to ban tackle football here on Fox Sports, 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
I've studied the human mind. I've learned how to read it and ultimately
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
I swim here every summer in my adult life. Every summer, there she is. Lotioning, oiling, oiling. I can't take this no more.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
I have that Eye of the Tiger. It's fun, free, and it is Friday. We are here every single weekday.
Thank God it's Friday.
From 3 to 6 p.m. We are the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. We have a big-time guest here on the line. He is the head football coach at Temecula Valley High School, the one and only Bert Esposito. Bert, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, I saw you and I had talked a little bit today. You're out at a conference. Is this a football conference you're at today?
Yes, out there in Dallas.
What's the weather like out there, and what kind of conference is this that you're hanging out in Dallas for?
Well, the weather is horrible compared to what we were just at, so we definitely didn't bring California weather with us. And, we're out here at the Tony Franklin System Clinic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was out in Steamboat Springs, Colorado as of Monday, and I saw 5.5 feet of snow in 2 days.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, but picture this. I had my wife, I had my children in a minivan, a two-wheel drive minivan, and I had to drive from Steamboat Springs to Denver, Colorado, which is about a 3.5-hour drive, and I was driving through a blizzard, and I was worried about.
Wow.
I thought I was going to kill my family. So, yeah, it's it's really nice to be back in Southern California, and with the weather 70 and clear and wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Coach, a couple quick questions here. First of all, how's the new job over at Temecula Valley High School?
Going great. Kids are working hard. They're buying in, and hopefully we'll put this thing together and make some changes.
Hey, Coach, this is Tim Hatch. I'm subbing in for Pep Fernandez today. And
how you doing?
A pleasure to meet you over the radio. But I had the pleasure of calling a Temecula game this year. They played Poly, and I had a chance to see some of the talent. There's some athletes there. There's some young players that are very good. And how's that looking?
Yeah, definitely. Their sophomore class is definitely a very solid class. And the juniors they have returning are definitely a solid group. They're hardworking kids. I mean, anytime you have a wrestling program like Temecula, and we get some of those kids out, I'm excited about it. Those kids are tough kids.
And also a great traditional program with the great Bud Kane back in the day, and a couple of CIF championships. And I know yourself, a great coach, a chance to rebuild the tradition.
Absolutely. We're trying to get that back, no doubt about it.
Well, Coach, you are the president of the Southern California Football Coaches Association. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, well, there's a big debate going on through social media, through national news, that the state of California is trying to bring the Safe Youth Football Act, which was introduced by Kevin McCarthy and Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher. It's a bill to aim and curb any long-term brain damage that has been linked to repetitive hits to the head that takes place in football, such as the CTE, yada, yada, so forth. But they're trying to ban youth tackle football here in the state of California. Can you tell us a little bit about that bill that's being introduced?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we went over it last night. We had a media release we sent out last night, and we went over the bill. And it's not a bill yet. It's being proposed as a bill. And, there's obviously a lot of validity to all this stuff, but there's also a lot of unanswered questions. And, obviously we want to care about these kids and their future. There's no doubt about that, and trying to make the game safer. And I think, of course, in this day and age, the game is as safe as it's ever been. When I was on another radio show, they asked me, well, what way do you think that's so? And I said, well, the new techniques that we have, using your hands a lot more, new rules, all those types of things have led to definitely a downgrade of concussions that we've had from back in the day when we played. I mean, I don't even know how many concussions I had when I played, but there are games I don't remember playing. So, obviously the game is getting safer and all that, but I think the biggest issue right now is that we're putting the cart before the horse right now. We don't have a lot of the scientific facts yet. They're still building. It's a gray area as to when, tackle football should be, outlawed or not outlawed, or what age and all those things. And so I think really the big push right now is, we need to slow down a little bit before we make these drastic decisions that can change how we played football for 100 years.
Hey, Coach, back in the day, I grew up in Michigan, and I played in the Catholic League in Michigan, and we had tackle football at our schools leading up into high school. And we had some great technique coaches. My junior high coach was a former player for the Detroit Wheels of the WFL. But anyway, that's how old I am, Coach. But I feel like that if things are taught right, that the issue isn't the concussions, it's playing the right way.
I agree 100%. I think, in some way, I think football has to start getting back to and really proposing a new way where coaches are certified and we come up with a system that we understand is probably the best way to teach tackling, and that it being taught that way, because we do know that kids coaches, especially very young youth coaches, are mostly taught by dads who learned how to do things back in the day, and they're not really kept up with, the new techniques and the way that the rules are. And so they tend to kind of teach kids the old way. And so like I said, this whole area has to kind of start gelling together, and we need to start doing things the right way. But before we do that, let's not outlaw the game, or a huge part of the game, before we are able to do some things about it.
Well, Coach, I come from a basketball background, and my father, he's a football coach, basketball coach. I played football growing up. My biggest concern is, I'm a father of 3 young boys, and I would love to be able to say to each one of them, hey, you can go out and play football. But my problem is I'm looking just like high school basketball. There's such an influence, or such a huge mass push now for almost travel ball football. It's, I remember when I was a kid, it was Riverside Junior Tackle Football Association, and there was about 6 teams. We all played. We were all coached by the same guys every year, and it kind of went up through the system. But now football has become kind of big business, like travel ball basketball, like travel ball softball and volleyball, where you're getting so many coaches, so many young kids playing. But like you had said, a lot of the coaches don't know how to coach football. Sometimes it's a father, and I think we have to kind of grasp this early before this travel ball football gets out of hand, like it has in basketball, like it has in the other sports, because that is when I think you're going to get injuries, is because you're going to have so many coaches that, they worry so much about winning. You watch these youth teams, and you saw it when you were at Paloma Valley. I'm sure you had youth football. They would go, some coaches go out and all they care about is winning, and they go out and try to beat teams by 100. And it really, really kind of deters kids by the time they get in high school from really playing football.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I mean, these guys are going out there. Well, first of all, in addressing the coaches from these 7-on-7s and a lot, we call them street agents. And, a lot of them definitely have a football playing background. And, they may know some football, but let's face it, the bottom line is the bottom line here, and a lot of them are doing it for the money. And, there's no qualifications that are being asked of these coaches. I mean, in high school, we have to take courses just to be able to coach. And, there's a whole step that we have to take to be able to do that, and these guys are not being regulated. And so you're getting all that. But going back further to the youth, those kids, I agree with you 100% on everything you said,
And Coach, I've been lucky enough to have coached at schools where we had really good football programs. My first coaching job was at Norco High. Gary Campbell was there. And I worked with Norco Parks and Rec, but there was also Norco Bobcats football, that they had some of his former players at each level doing things the way Gary had done them for years. And that was one of those programs. It was not a moneymaker. It was about doing things the right way, that Norco Cougar way, the Gary Campbell way. And it was kind of fun to watch the kids grow at each level and do it the right way as they grew up.
Absolutely. And look at the success he had over all those years that still carries on to this day over there. You know, there's a culture over at Norco that is really founded in Gary Campbell. And again, when you do things the right way, I think that's what happens. And how many of those kids were able to get scholarships and play on and do the game the way it was meant to be done? Absolutely. And we need to get back to that. We need to get away from the street agents, and we need to, teach football the right way. But at the same time, we have to come up with a system and regulate. I know Pete Carroll with the Hawk tackling progression has done a tremendous job on teaching, us how to teach kids how to rugby tackle, and just things like that have to become more of a primary part of football, especially youth football. But if we just go in there and just say we're outlawing it, now you're taking all that away, and now it opens up a whole nother can of worms.
And Coach, the other thing I see, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, is I watch ESPN highlights, and they all show that big hit where the defender lowers his shoulder and doesn't even try and tackle. They just try and pop the guy and make that big hit rather than tackling correctly. You think that influences some kids?
Oh, absolutely. Everything you see on TV is going to influence the kids. It's all big money. Just wearing the Under Armour or the Nike or whatever is big money. And so if those guys are going to do that and ESPN is going to emphasize those types of things, that's what the kids are going to try to emulate. It's just the way it works. So, again, I think, we have to reevaluate the game and really what it's all about and before we start outlawing things.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, and really I don't think the state should come in and legislate how kids should be playing football. I think it really comes down to a parental issue. And I think that kind of has been left out of this act, this Safe Youth Football Act, is that really the internal question is, if your parent, it's a parental decision. It's not shouldn't be made by the state and so forth. But there are, even if a child, if you're a parent, like I said, I'm a parent of 3 young boys, and my kids are probably going to be 7 feet tall. I mean, we're not. But I would love for them to play football. But there's times, my kids are going to be tall and gangly, and I think I would love eventually for them to play football. But there are other opportunities for young boys, young ladies to play football, and maybe being flag football might be a good opportunity for these young men and women as well. Would you agree on that?
I do agree with that. And, where the cutoff age is, we don't know because every kid's different and all that. But I definitely agree that the parents should have their decision to all this. There's no doubt about it. There's flag football. I know USA Football is doing a tremendous job on changing certain aspects of the game. There's a whole thing. We were back in Orlando not too long ago, and we went over all this with all the associations from every state. And USA Football, I think, is really spearheading this whole thing and coming up with new ways to get kids involved that don't have them at so much risk. And I believe in that 100%.
Now, do you think there's a chance, to maybe combine maybe I know you're a big advocate of 7-on-7. We've covered all of when you're at Paloma, the great tournaments you run. Is there a way to kind of mesh, you think, maybe a flag for younger kids to maybe mesh that flag and tackle kind of like a 7-on-7 type style football, or do you think that's something kind of far removed we could do?
You know what? I think it's already in the works. USA Football is going to be releasing a bunch of information on all this stuff. They have these youth leagues, Friday night leagues that are coming up that are going to be age appropriate. The field dimensions are going to change. The rules of the game are going to change a little bit, and it's to get kids to come in and have fun. And, you watch those shows like Little Tykes football from Texas, and you see these guys yelling and screaming at these kids. They don't know what that's all about. I think these are all the bad images that has been going out with youth football. And I think what USA Football is going to start doing is really going to help get these kids involved and have fun and not concentrate on, destroying a kid or, trying to crush a kid. Just play football for the game it is and, learn how to tackle correctly and, keep the head out of the game as much as possible.
Hey, Coach, you've been very successful on the field, and as I've watched your career from afar, how did you get involved with these organizations that you travel to these different conferences?
Well, I tell you, here's the biggest thing, and it's kind of what I've always felt. In every career, everyone talks about this stuff, is after a certain time in your career, you want to give back. And, you know, football, the old saying, football been very, very good to me. And, you know, and you get to a certain point in your career, you're like, okay, this game has helped me, and, you know, I get to coach football all the time and be a coach all the time. I want to give back. So I just got myself involved, and we were really trying to reach out to a lot of the younger coaches to understand that, you know, it's not enough to just watch football on the Internet and to learn on the Internet. It's a social game, and you need to give back, and you need to get involved and be person to person. And just by getting involved with all that stuff, opportunities have come, and people have said, hey, why don't you do this, and why don't you do that? And I'll always be the first one to do whatever I can to help, no doubt about it.
Well, Coach, you touched on one thing before we get going here. I wanted to ask you one other quick thing. You know, you talk about those the flesh peddlers, the guys that come in that are really kind of move. You know, they'll come to these tournaments and they'll say, "Hey, you should probably play at such and such. You should need to play here. Right. You need to play there." Does CIF, you think, have to step in and do something about that? Because it's really, really rampant. I've seen it. Pep's seen it. We've all seen it when you go to these tournaments that there's guys that really. Is there enough resources for CIF or an organization like CIF to come in and fix what is broken right now and is going to continue to get worse and worse as years go by?
I think presently they definitely do not have those resources. I mean, it's hard enough for them to control the high school game and with the transfers and all that. I mean, they're an organization. They do a phenomenal job up there. Rob Wygod and all his guys. They do everything they can, but really it comes down to the schools being accountable to themselves and the principals and all that. They almost have to self-regulate. But when you're dealing with these guys who really don't have any regulations on them, who's governing them? There's no qualifications. There's no anything. And I really don't know at this present time that CIF can really do anything. And I know they're working on it. I know Rob, it's definitely a big concern and all that stuff. But right now, I mean, it takes resources to do that. And every time you try to change a rule or something, you're going to get sued, you know, so you got that to deal with. So it's definitely an issue, and it's definitely something that I think is going to be talked about a lot here recently.
And the last thing, Coach, just ironically, Jeff's football career, which he spoke of earlier, I want to say he probably had the cleanest uniform on the field.
How dare you?
I believe he was a punter, maybe a punter. I don't know.
Hey, I could throw a football over a mountain. I was like Uncle Rico.
Then why was your uniform never dirty?
You throw in the artificial grass, and of course he's going to look clean.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, Coach, real quick here. Thank you for shedding so much light on this. You know, this really a hot topic right now in social media and throughout throughout sport here in California. You know, we're gonna respect everything you said. I think you made great salient points, and like I said, I think it's up to the parents. I think the state needs to stay out of football. I think we just need to fix the surrounding aspects of high school and youth football.
Exactly.
Well, Coach, thank you for spending so much time with us. I know you're busy, man. You're out in Dallas hanging out in the bad weather, but listening to some football. We wish you the best of luck. We're going to talk to you again, I'm sure, at Temecula Valley. And thank you so much for joining us on the Inland Sports Show today.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Once again, that's Bert Esposito, the head football coach at Temecula Valley High School. He gave some great insight on that Safe Youth Football Act, which is being introduced by the state of California. Well, we are going to take a short break here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350, and when we come back, we are going to be joined by Brandon Fletcher, the women's basketball coach at Ramona High School, and they walked away with a big victory in the first round of the playoffs, as we will talk to him after the break here on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
Forgive me, El Guapo. I know that I, Jefe, do not have your superior intellect and education. But could it be that once again, you are angry at something else and are looking to take it out on me?
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
So you talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking news, exclusive interviews, and big-name guests in the IE.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio, and we made this app so you never have to be without us again. Take Fox Sports Radio 1350 with you wherever you go. iHeartRadio keeps you connected to Fox Sports Radio 1350, so you never miss a thing. While we're at it, we went ahead and picked thousands of the best radio stations, so you can stay connected with us and explore the sounds of cities all over the country.
I never know what she's doing back there.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
We are back here on the Inland Sports Show. Things are going out of control. We got Baker singing in the background. It's a great Muppet caper here on a Friday on Fox Sports 1350 AM. We are now joined by a good friend of the show, Coach Fletcher of the Lady Rams. Coach Fletcher, how you doing today?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm pretty good, thanks.
Boy, you guys have had a great year and things are getting better. Tell us what's going on with the Lady Rams.
Well, we won our first round playoff game yesterday in our Division 4AA and CIF, and we have had a pretty great year, and couldn't be more prouder of the girls, and they worked tremendously hard, and all of the success that we've had is just a testament to the culture that we set up and how hard they've worked and how determined they've had to be a special group this year. And we're still going. We feel confident going into tomorrow night.
We are joined by Brandon Fletcher, the women's basketball coach at Ramona High School. Coach, tell us about the year. Tell us from beginning to where you are right now. Tell us some of the good things, some of the tough things you guys have endured. Just give us a little rundown of the Lady Rams.
Well, a lot of really good things. We won 18 games this year, and we've had a pretty good schedule, and we ran into some pretty good teams. Like I said, we ran into a San Jacinto team in the Ramona Winter Classic. That posed a really good challenge. They're going to do pretty well in their side of the bracket. Our league was really tough this year. We finished tied for second, went 7-3. Every night was a battle, but along the way, we've learned a lot about ourselves. We've learned kind of what our identity is, and we've identified ourselves as a standout defensive team, and we hang our hat on that. We play really good defense night in and night out. We rebound the ball really well, and when teams play us, they have to deal with how hard we play, and we're going to make it really difficult for them to try to do what they like to do, and that's who we are. And we see a lot of growth from everybody. We've had really good, we've had really good senior leadership, led by our two senior starters, Maya Polk and Alana Thompson. But we've seen a lot of good growth from our junior class and our freshmen. Our center Amari Guyton has developed really nicely and turned out to be a really big contributor for us. And we're getting great contributions from just about everybody who steps on the floor right now.
Coach, this is Tim Hatch talking, replacing Pep for today. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great because I'm sitting next to Jeff Gorham, one of the greatest Ramona Rams in the history of Rams.
Absolutely.
That's right. But he is wearing some short shorts as we sit here in his horizontal striped shirt. But now, could you go back over a couple of the seniors again? Who's your leading scorers?
Our leading scorer this year was our junior Savannah Petty. She led us in scoring and led us in pretty much every statistical category that we had. Led us in scoring about 15.5 a game, rebounding about 9.5, steals, getting about 3 or 4 steals a game. Led us in assists for 3 or 4. But our senior Shemaya Polk was one of our starters all year long. She's contributing about 8.5 points a game, close to 8.5 rebounds, about 3 or 4 steals a game as well. Alana Thompson's our senior center. She's been in the program 4 years, just like Shemaya, and she had a concussion for the first half of the league, so she didn't, after the Patriot game, she didn't play for that first half of the league. But since she's coming back, she's averaging about 5 points, 6 rebounds a game, and has been really one of our best defenders inside. Anytime there's a team that we play that has a post player that we need to defend really well on the ball, that's the assignment that she gets, and we trust her, and she knows how to play. And those two seniors have led through example and trying to cap off their 4 years in the program with some wins here in the playoffs.
So if you could sum up like Ramona women's basketball, how do you make your mark? Are you a defensive team, a scoring team?
Yeah, we're a defensive team all the way, and that's what we do. If you look at our schedule, We've only given up over 50 points twice this year. Once to San Jacinto, and the other one was the league champion La Sierra. But other than that, we don't give up a whole lot of points. Last night we held Estancia out of Costa Mesa, a really scrappy. They play with a lot of effort, and they finished third in their league, and they came in and we held them to 4 made shots for the entire game. And
wow!
If it wasn't for putting them on the free throw line 19 times last night, they would have they had a really hard time getting quality shots. And that's what we do every day in practice. We emphasize we want to take away the other team's best options, and we want to make them shoot difficult shots. We want to try to play as physical as we can, especially inside rebounding. And I tell the team one of our mantras is defense and rebounding, keep you in every game. Then we just got to figure out how to score enough points.
Well, Coach, a lot of good things going on at Ramona High School, led by your athletic director, John Tibbles, does a great job. But really the vibe on campus is really, I'm a Ramona alumni, and I like to follow. I'm a horns up guy. But,
yep.
Your softball program, you've got great coaches across the board. You got Laura Shiner. You have Kim Mashinsky, who came in, and you guys have changed the entire outlook of sports on campus at Ramona High School. What do you attribute that to? Is it a new breed, new kids that are coming in, or is it just that you have good coaches? What is it about Ramona right now?
It's kind of we're all on the same page. When I came in 3 years ago, there were people that had been around for quite a while, like Coach Shiner, and I've learned a lot through about Ramona and about kind of the culture and the expectations through her. Coach Goodwin on the boys' side really helped me out a lot, and he was the girls' coach before I came in, so I took over his program. He left it in a really good spot, so we talked a lot when I first got hired about what he was doing and where the program was going. And when he went over the boards, a lot of his girls had graduated. I was taking over basically a brand new program at that time. So I've had an opportunity to kind of build it up again and get it to where it is now, and kind of do it do it with a little bit of my philosophy, but at the same time, it's about hard work and it's about consistency. It's about being intellectual and accountable, and that's just because all of the coaches at Ramona, that's what we preach. We're on the same page. We all support each other. We all help each other out, and that's why you see a lot of consistency with our coaching staff. We don't have a lot of turnover, and even the new people that come in, that's the kind of people that we want to get. And everybody is on the same page. We all understand it's about the kids, and we want to do right by our student athletes, and we want to give them an experience not only athletically but also educationally as well. So when they graduate from our programs, that they have some life skills and some leadership skills that they can fall back on and be successful individuals.
Hey, Coach, how important do you feel it is to have coaches who are on campus as teachers?
Oh, it's so important. I mean, I've coached at schools where I wasn't on campus, and it just makes the job a lot harder. And it's so important to have them on campus because it just makes us more visible, and we're able to interact with our student athletes every day, and we're able to build the culture of the program not only through our kids, but we're also to kind of infuse the culture into the school culture as well, and get the student body mobilized and involved, and build up the program that way as well. It just makes it helps put the program into the school culture, and it helps the kids to see you every day. You can interact with them and see them academically, kind of see how they interact socially, and help improve their lives through many different aspects. If I only saw them for 2 hours a day just because I show up on campus to practice, we wouldn't be able to build those relationships that you see with high school coaches and their players, to where you just wouldn't have the same vibe or the same culture. There'd be a really big disconnect. And by being on campus, we're a lot more connected, and we're able to work better. And they know that I'm more involved in their lives, just like than just them being basketball players to me. We're a family, and that's how we view each other.
It's a great campus. It's one of the older campuses around the stadium, the gym, incredible facilities. Like at with the Lakers, they have statues out there of former great players. Do they have a statue of Jeff Gorham out in front of the gym?
How dare you?
Are there plans to have a statue of Jeff out there?
How dare he?
I haven't. There isn't a big statue of Mr. Gorham out there.
How about a drawing?
I
take more grief than anyone.
Yeah, there is a couple of basketball banners up there with Jeff's name on it for coaching. So his legacy is definitely cemented on the campus.
Well, Coach, I have to say this. We are joined right now by Brandon Fletcher, the Lady Rams women's basketball coach. You are a huge sports fan, I heard, and you're a big baseball card collector. Is that correct?
That's right. I am. Yes. It's just one of my hobbies that give me a break from basketball. I don't. Once basketball hits, it's pretty much teaching my classes, which I love to do, and then coaching it. But when I get free time, I like to indulge in some things.
Okay, so what's your best card you have?
Probably you guys will appreciate this because it's Southern California. I've got a 2011 Trout rookie that I've got hanging on to that I'm not going to let go with.
Nice. Hey, just to let you know, Mike Trout and I are pretty tight.
Are you?
I am.
Nice.
He and I had a chance to interview him, and I was the only guy after interviewing him to go up and give him a fist bump. Everybody thought I was crazy, so I have not washed my fist since. And he's a great guy. You're a big Buster Posey fan?
I am. I am a Posey fan, and just it's about the work ethic and kind of what these guys stand about. What they stand for. So
now I'm gonna go nerd you out right now. Have you ever heard of Frank and Sons, the big card collecting?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't live too far from Frank's. I live out in Baldwin Park, so it's just a short little drive down the 60.
Well, just to give you a little background, I used to have a booth there with a buddy of mine, and we used to have, I'm a Star Wars geek, so I used to have a Star Wars booth, and I would trade and sell from there every Saturday and Thursday night. It was kind of my place to hang out. But yeah, maybe that's why I'm a big fan of yours, Coach, is because you're a collector of cards, you're a Buster Posey fan, and you're just a great guy, Coach. So I appreciate
it.
I appreciate everything that you've done for a program I love and I'm dear to. I still follow the Rams all the time. But maybe you can tell us what's going on. When's you guys play tomorrow night at Ramona High School?
We're at home. We were fortunate enough to win the coin flip for our second round game. We're at home versus the number 2 seed and a really, really good Foothill Tech team out of Ventura. It's going to be a great game. 2 really good teams that are going to play really good defense. Foothill's a great team, and we're going to have our hands full. But I know, watching us practice today and how our girls were ready to play, they're ready to take on the challenge, and I think it's going to be a pretty good game tomorrow.
Well, this is head coach Brandon Fletcher of the Ramona Rams girls basketball team. Coach, we wish you the best of luck continuing on into the CIF playoffs. Always great to talk to you. You and I are going to have to get together, go down to Frank and Sons, and do some card collecting, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Coach
Good luck,
Fletcher.
Coach.
That was Brandon Fletcher, the women's basketball coach at Ramona High School. We will be right back. We're going to talk a little UC Riverside basketball as they head into Saturday night's matchup versus University of Hawaii for a big playoff spot in the Big West tournament here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
She comes home from work in about an hour and a half. Graveyard shift at the hospital. You gotta make some phone calls? You gotta call some people? Well, then do it.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
So you talk through the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking news, exclusive interviews, and big-name guests in the IE.
This report is brought to you by...
that accident was not really an accident at all, protect yourself. Call the police and take pictures of the damage, the people in the other vehicles, the license plate, licenses, and registration. Tell your insurance company that this could have been a staged accident. And whenever you suspect fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I just wanted to say that I'm a nerd. And I'm here tonight to stand up for the rights of other nerds.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
We are back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. We are here every single weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. If you're driving in your car, you can listen to Pep and I, Pep Fernandez. I'm Jeff Gorham. Subbing in for Pep right now is Tim Hatch. We are here to talk UC Riverside basketball. UC Riverside just came off an impressive victory at Cal State Northridge, 69-62 victory. They went on an 18-0 run in the second half to put them back in contention to get into that Big West Conference tournament. Well, everything comes together here because we are brought to you by Spoils Quick Quality Oil Change, Ken Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training in Corona, and Catalano Motors in Corona as well. But as we talk UC Riverside basketball, UC Riverside is still on the outside looking in, possibly to move up in the standings. If they win tomorrow versus the University of Hawaii, which they previously defeated on the campus of the University of Hawaii, they will put them into the tied for the 7th spot. Riverside is currently 2-9. Cal State Northridge 3-9, and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo with the same record. So with a victory tomorrow, we'll put the Riverside Highlanders back in contention for a Big West tournament entry.
Is there a tiebreaker? What would be the tiebreaker if they were to end up in a tie?
It's based on how they've done head-to-head. But I think because it's a 9-team league, it shouldn't come out as anybody being tied for the 9th spot. But Saturday, UC Riverside will take on Hawaii from the SRC Arena. The game will be played on Prime Ticket and also on GoHighlanders.com. Pep Fernandez and I will have the call. But there are 4 more games beyond Hawaii that they must win in order to get a shot at a good seeding in the Big West tournament held at the Pond, the Honda Center in Anaheim. They play Fullerton next Wednesday at home. They play at UC Davis on the 24th on Saturday. Then they will play Cal Poly at home and Long Beach on the 3rd of March to end the regular season in the Big West. But there was, like I said, a very big win at Cal State Northridge as they beat the Matadors on a Thursday night. We have an interview with Justin Bell. We caught up with him post-game after the victory.
What has the mood been like the last couple weeks? And has it been any different from what it was for the first 8 games?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't want to say it's been any different, but our guys have been good. They're practicing hard. They're pulling for each other. They're really doing the right things. And I keep telling them, you're doing the right things that should equal to winning, but it's sports and things happen. Mm-hmm. But they're continuing to do those things every day, and I couldn't ask more of them.
I mean, and it's hard not to be discouraged if you keep butting your head against the wall and it keeps not happening, especially the way you guys were losing some of those games. For
sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're kids, they're young kids, and they want to feel some success, from the hard work they're putting in, absolutely. So it's good to see them get rewarded for that.
How much of a difference does it make to have DK back?
Yeah, obviously it helps. He's a really good player, and his ability to score the ball is, helps us a ton. And so, for us, it's been huge. Him and Alex, having Alex back also, it's been really big.
And playing Martin and Flippin in the backcourt. I mean, how often have you been doing that? Because it seems like it's a pretty good look.
Yeah, we've toyed with it a little bit. You know, Co does a good job. He brings great energy. They kind of balance each other out a little bit. You know, Co's really out there. He's active. He's always kind of bouncing on his toes, and it allows DK to kind of settle in on defense and you know, not demand as much from him on that end, because we demand so much from him on offense. You know, so they do a good job with that. And Co's such a selfless player, so it helps out a lot.
Is Co still non-scholarship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Is he kind of working his way toward that, maybe?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I'm the interim coach. I don't know if I can make those decisions.
That's a good point.
Coach, would you file this game under must-win, going head-to-head with a team like Northridge, who was 2 games up on you?
You know, I told our guys I didn't want to make it must-win. You know, because we have 6 games. We had 6 games left. After, you know, we have 5 now. But going into this game, I'm like, fellas, you know, every game for us, I want it to feel like must win. You know, and I don't want our guys going into this game going must win, and we got 5 left. No, well, this is must win, and in my point, I told our staff, win or lose, if we win this game, I don't want our guys thinking, okay, we won the must win game. Okay, now what? And then if you lose, you don't want your guys going, you know, the world is falling. So we wanted our guys thinking, hey, every game is must win. You know, don't listen to what anybody's saying. And I told them, don't listen to your family. Don't listen to anybody else who's not in this room right now, because every game for us is must win.
That's I mean, just look at the standings. That's all you need to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a playoff footing from here in, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we, you know, we want to take every game seriously. We're not, you know, looking past anybody or trying to throw our eggs all into one basket at all. You know, we want to practice hard every day, and whoever the next opponent is, we want to go out and try to beat them also. You know, we don't want to create this must-win, you know, kind of attitude where, you know, we're just trying to do it every single day has been our motivation. Hey, every day we have practice, okay, let's go. All right, we got a game, okay, let's go. Like, that's been our kind of our theme.
You've got Hawaii on Saturday. You still have Cal Poly head-to-head at your place. I mean, those are the teams that are right above you, and at least you've got a chance to see them and maybe pick off some wins directly against the teams you're trying to chase down.
For sure, yeah. And, you know, we want to be able to play well in those games, and those are 2 good teams. We beat Hawaii at their place, and they're going to come fired up. You know, we've seen it happen before. So, you know, our whole plan is to get in there tomorrow, practice really hard, stay focused, stay locked in, continue to do the things that we've been doing that we think lead to winning, and hopefully we can go out and let it rip.
Thank you, sir.
That was head coach Justin Bell after a big victory at Northridge on Thursday night. We also had a chance to catch up with Chance Murray, the high-scoring, high-athletic, high-caliber player for the Highlanders, and this is what Chance had to say after the post-game, after that big victory.
What has the mood been the last 3 games, the last couple weeks, and has there been a difference in the mood, the demeanor of the team now as opposed to earlier in the season, early in the conference season?
Yeah, most definitely. It's just every day in practice we grind. So we know as long as we keep grinding every day in practice, it'll translate to the game. So once we just keep bringing energy every day, every game, I think we'll be fine.
Was it hard to not get discouraged?
Talking about today's game?
Today, but I mean overall. I mean for the last since conference play started.
Yeah, well, losing consecutively always hurts, but these guys in the locker room, man, they never typically put their heads down. They always stay the course, and I love playing with them.
Are there certain guys that have kind of kept that mood, kept that energy?
Yeah, I feel like we do it collectively as a group. The seniors, it's our job to make sure the younger guys stay focused and keep bringing that energy.
So tonight then, not getting discouraged. I mean, was there a point there where you were thinking, heck, here we go again?
No, not at all. We knew it was pretty much on us. They were shooting, I think, 53% at the halftime. Once we get stops on defense offensively, we just had to make it up.
Chance, when you're going into this game,
yes, sir.
Did you guys talk about as a team the importance of this, for the simple fact that CSUN and Cal Poly are the 2 teams right above you guys, and you have a chance to go head-to-head with with both of those schools and Hawaii. And that's another school that's within striking range for you guys. About the importance of just winning these head-to-head contests against the teams you're trying to track down.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. We know it's getting closer to the end. We have 6 games left, and honestly, we want to get all 6 because we know it's a close race, like you said, at the end of the bottom of the conference. So every day, like I said, we just got to keep grinding, keep pushing, and I think we'll be fine.
Did your eyes get a little too big on that dunk?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got the steal, and then, yeah, I'm just going to do 2 hands from now on. I can't do one hand.
And is there kind of a look of horror on your face when you see it bounce all the way out to midcourt and they get it and start?
Yeah, I was hoping it was just going to go out of bounds just to get a pause in the game, but it's my second time doing it. I can't be missing any more dunks.
Chance, do you always find ways to influence the game? Because you led the team in points tonight. You had 10 rebounds. I think you had like 5 assists. You kind of do a little bit of everything for this team. So we've seen you as the shooting guard. We've seen you handle the ball. You do, and obviously you're the second leading rebounder on the team.
Yes, sir.
Do you just find ways to try to impact the game?
Yeah, whatever the team needs me to do at that moment, I feel like I try to step in and fill that role. But my teammates, they give me the confidence to go out there and just play my game.
Okay, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Congratulations.
Well, that's Chance Murray, the senior superstar for the UC Riverside Highlanders. Make sure you come out and check us out tomorrow night as Pep and I have the call at the SRC Arena as the Highlanders will take on the Bows of Hawaii. It's a big game. It's a big game in the sense that these 2 teams are playing for their playoff lives to get into the Big West tournament play at the Honda Center. When we come right back, we'll be joined by the voice, the golden voice of the Nevada Wolfpack, John Ramey. He'll give us a Mountain West rundown and a Nevada rundown. Ranked 24th in the country right now. He's going to give us a little inside on Mountain West basketball on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
Why do dogs have wet noses? Why is an 11 pronounced 21?
Kids ask a lot of questions,
Why do I have a belly button?
but you don't have to know every answer.
Why is the ocean salty?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
Why are there 50 states?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
Why is pizza round?
They just need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I just wanted to say that I'm a nerd. And I'm here tonight to stand up for the rights of other nerds.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
We are back here on the Inland Sports Show. We've got a little Muppet theme song going on right now, but there's nothing Muppety about this next guest. He's a friend of the show and one of my best friends in the entire world. He is the golden voice of the Nevada Wolfpack, currently ranked number 24 in the country. He is John Lafayette. Ramey, John, how are you today?
What's up, man? And no hate on the Muppets. I'm a big fan.
We love the Muppets here. I was compared to earlier in the week as Fozzie the Bear. Pep was Kermit, and Greg Holla was Gonzo. So that we are big lovers of the Muppets, but we are not any bigger a lover than we are for the great John Ramey. How are things going on at Nevada?
Things are well. The Wolfpack are 22-5. They are 11-2 with a 2-game lead in the conference in the Mountain West. And they play at Utah State tomorrow, 3 o'clock Pacific time. I have just arrived in lovely Logan, Utah, God's country, if I may say. The beautiful snow-capped angular mountain peaks. It is tremendous territory, great terrain. And I'm looking forward to it. I've never attended a game, let alone covered a game in the Smith Spectrum, which is one of the great venues in all of college basketball, so I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, you've got to play in some great places. You know, you've played all over, but let's talk about the Mountain West Conference. Tell us all about the fans you've seen this year, because you and I, we saw Big West basketball, but Mountain West basketball is a whole different animal when it comes to fan support.
Well, it's just been tremendous, Jeff. The Pack were at Boise on Wednesday night, Boise State. That crowd was announced at about 8,000, but it seemed louder than 10,000, and it was a cacophony. I used that word twice. I know you like the SAT words.
I do.
I used that word twice on the broadcast, and I asked the coaches after the game. I said, "How did that compare?" And they said it was every bit as loud as Texas Tech. Which was a 10,000-person crowd earlier this year in Lubbock. You think about Boise, you think about Viejas in San Diego, you think about the Pit in Albuquerque, you think about the Smith Spectrum. These are tremendous college basketball venues. And on Wednesday at Boise State, there was some chippiness because the Pack won the game. It was a close game. Boise State hadn't lost at home in 13 games in a row. And there was some gesticulation, some blowing of kisses to the crowd by the Nevada players at the end of the game. They said that when Lindsey Drew, who unfortunately went down with a season-ending Achilles injury at the end of the first half, the Pack players reported that some of the Boise State fans were saying less than sporting things about how they hoped the injury would result. So it was very spirited, and it's just a tremendous basketball league, Jeff, as you and I have known forever, but to get to witness it up close and personal this year has been an absolute treat for somebody who loves college basketball.
Hey, John, this is Tim Hatch. I'm sitting in with Jeff today. I have a brother who lives up in Reno who has told me that the atmosphere at the Wolfpack games is incredible. Could you tell us what that's like?
Yeah, I'll tell you what it's like. Lawler Event Center is livelier than Staples Center or Pauley Pavilion or any place. I mean, it is a total show. It's a game day environment that I was frankly surprised by. Now, I'd covered games at Thomas and Mack Center at UNLV. Riverside had actually played at Nevada, I'm going to say, around 2009, 2010. I remember liking the building architecturally. I don't recall the game experience itself, but the game day experience at Lawler Event Center is fabulous. And they've had 2 or 3, I'm going to say 2 crowds. I don't want to sell them short, maybe 3 crowds over 10,000 this year. The final 2 home games of the year should be in 5 figures as well. It has certainly, in the 3 years under Eric Musselman, made Reno a basketball crazy community. Traditionally, Northern Nevada has been football first, although there have been some great basketball teams at the University of Nevada throughout the seasons, but they are crazy for the Wolfpack, and why not? I mean, their RPI is above 15, and they're in first place. They're 22-5. I mean, 9 true road wins. It's hard not to like the Nevada Wolfpack this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys have been playing great. You had a little hiccup versus UNLV. UNLV's been playing great of late, but you give San Diego State a good whooping, and then you go in and you beat a very good Boise State team in Boise. Now you're at Utah. I mean, things are going pretty well right now for the Wolfpack.
Now, I want, excuse me, guys, I want to say this to you. I wouldn't dare say this in Northern Nevada, although I might. Here's the thing. Losing to UNLV in Lawler Event Center in Northern Nevada to snap a 16-game home win streak, short-term, bummer. Long-term, when you think about the context of rivalry, awesome, right? It's awesome. You need the other guy to succeed just often enough so that you hate them to make the rivalry meaningful. Now, that's not a popular opinion right now, but like the fact that UNLV, who was quite frankly underachieving to that point given their talent, came in and won that game and played with such inspired tenacity, I thought added tremendous texture to the rivalry, because last year in basketball, Nevada had their way with UNLV. It was hardly a rivalry, and I'm quoting Marvin Menzies, the head coach of the Runnin' Rebels.
A friend of mine. A good friend of mine.
And a good coach.
Yes, and I was going to ask you, you guys get a chance to play UNLV again February 28th at UNLV, so it could be a nice, a good revenge game for Nevada. Hopefully they've taken that loss at home and can kind of, get momentum going into the season-ending tournament, the Mountain West tournament.
The 5 remaining games for Nevada in the regular year: tomorrow at Utah State, 2 home games, San Jose State on a Wednesday, Senior Day Sunday against Colorado State, and then at UNLV and at San Diego State. So when you think about it, at Boise, at Utah State, at UNLV, and at San Diego State for the final 6 games of the regular year, I mean, everybody knew it was going to be tough coming down the stretch. If Nevada can take care of business and avoid more than 2 losses, I think they're in pretty good shape with regard to an at-large, independent of what happens in the conference tournament.
You think there's any chance they could get 2 out of the Mountain West this year?
Boy, they should let Boise State in, because they could beat some people. And Chandler Hutchison is a star. Nevada's done a good job against Hutchison. He had 13 points the other night, which is low for him, but he did have 10 rebounds. And his ability to physically dominate a game is, I mean, he's next level. He is an NBA body. He's an NBA talent, and he's an NBA competitor, too. I think it would be a real shame if Boise State isn't in the big dance, because they have one of the great stars in college basketball, and also Leon Rice has really built that program over his tenure there. They're a team that could definitely win a game in the tournament. It's not just a team that should be there. They could be in and beat people. So I hope it's a multiple bid year for the Mountain West. But, I have a front row seat to the conference, so I wouldn't call myself a disinterested party.
Well, that makes sense. Hey, you guys did make not you guys, but the conference made a little bit of news by Colorado State's head coach Larry Eustachy. What have you heard? What's going on at that program? I mean, it seems like everything has fallen apart in the last couple of weeks.
It's unfortunate. I don't have a relationship with Coach Eustachy, and I only know that he, as of last year, had Colorado State playing for the regular season and the tournament conference championships in the Mountain West. He certainly has been a capable coach throughout his career. Certainly you do not bounce back from controversy on multiple occasions as a head coach at this level of college basketball if you're not a very good coach. So whatever's going down, I'm not particularly up to speed on the specifics. I hope it works out well for Colorado State in that program. And, it's a shame when coaches lose their jobs or when coaches are in trouble. And, I don't know enough about it to comment any more insightfully than that.
That makes sense there, John.
Hey, Coach, while working up at Cal Berkeley's basketball camps, we had a chance to work with Eric Musselman's kids when they were really young in basketball camps. And so what is Coach Musselman like on the floor? We met him away from the floor. What is he like? I've heard he's very intense on game day situations.
It's funny. He is in the game. He's very intense. However, he has not been awarded a technical this year. He is there is a method to the madness. He is incredibly demonstrative. He will talk to the officials. He will roam well outside of the coach's box. But the way he conducts himself with the officials is much more calculated than one would maybe think upon first observation. For example, he knows if he's going to really chew out an official, he'll be very careful about where he puts his hands. He'll be very careful about how he stands and where. He is an NBA veteran. He is a second-generation head coach. Remember, his dad was the head coach at Minnesota Timberwolves and the University of Minnesota and the Reno Bighorns. So both Bill and Eric coached pro, minor league, and big-time college. He works the officials with incredible skill, even though it looks like he's just a teapot, boiling over. But and then I also have to say, speaking of his kids, some of the most fun we have on the road is when Monte Vista High School in the 680 corridor in the East Bay area, which is near to where I grew up, is playing games that Coach Muss will pull it up on his iPad, if they get the local TV East Bay game of the week. And, in fact, our assistant coach, Gus Arginal, his brother is the head coach at De La Salle Concord. And so they play Monte Vista, and on one occasion, we were watching all around, the dinner table out a night before a game, and everybody was huddled around Coach Musselman's iPad watching high school basketball. And Coach Muss will often watch Monte Vista games when they're available, with that online stream. So he's really passionate about his kid playing, and he has said to me on the record, he goes, look, every parent thinks their kid should get more minutes. Even he, as astute as he is in the game of basketball, is absolutely a parent about thinking, I want my kid to play, and I want my kid to shoot, and I think he's great, So it's a very human side of Coach Musselman when we talk about his kids and playing basketball.
Well, John, we are about out of time here, but before we go, I want to say two quick things. Coach Croy, Rick Croy over at California Baptist University, said wonderful things about you. And said, what
That's
a great,
awesome.
He said, hey, he remembers you when you guys were in high school together. He says, you were the smartest sports guy he knew at that when you were in high school. So that's pretty high praise from Rick Croy. And we've been playing your music here throughout the interview. I'm just going to read off something. We played Places. We played Cheap Rent, Move On, Rock and Roll Is a Lie, and You Should Dream Too. But, John.
Thank you.
Now, how can everybody, we love your music. We play it all the time here on the Inland Sports Show. Tell us how anybody can listen to it or how they can get a hold of an album. Go ahead and you have the floor.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. I would say the best way to do it is iTunes, John Lafayette Ramey, or johnlafayetteramey.com.
And now, John, what's next for you after basketball season? You've been the voice of UCLA baseball for so many years. What is in the near future after basketball season?
Well, they wrote me into doing Nevada baseball this year, so I'll be staying in northern Nevada and doing the Wolfpack, although they're at Irvine this weekend to open the season, and my colleague Alex Margulies is filling in there.
Well, John Ramey, always a pleasure to talk to you. You are a dear friend of me. You're a great friend of the show. We hope and wish nothing but the best for you and the Nevada Wolfpack. We hope to see you in the tournament. Come March, I would love to see some madness from John Ramey. John, always good to talk to you. We will catch up with you in about a week or so.
Bless your heart, Jeff. Love you. Thanks for having me on.
Love you too, buddy. That's the great voice of the Nevada Wolfpack, John Ramey. We'll be right back on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
No, I am your father.
Not true. That's impossible.
are closing up shop here. It's Friday. It's 6 o'clock. It's time to go. We've had a great week. We have a big one coming up next week. We have the Bigfoot lady, Claudia Ackley. She is suing the state of California, and we agree with her. Bigfoot should be a species. She's going to be on the show Monday in the 4 o'clock hour to talk everything Bigfoot, because we are Squatch lovers here at the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. Got a little going there. Tim Hatch, thank you today for joining me. As Pep leaves, thank you for joining.
An honest pleasure, and it would be Sasquatch, and they should be a mascot of one of the teams of UC's or Cal State's.
We are Squatch lovers here on the Inland Sports Show, and we are brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by their excellent customer service and great prices. Check them out off of Alessandro Boulevard. And Ken Sporting Goods. Hey, he's been around for 40 years, taking care of all of your sporting gear needs, plus Letterman's jackets. Check it out at kensportinggoods.com. And Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to check out Boost Performance Training in Corona. Coach Ray Bass and his team bring experience, passion, and commitment to grooming great athletes. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. Remember, your first strength and speed class is always free if you mention me, the Big GZ. Catalano Motors in Corona. Buy, trade, finance a new-to-you car or truck. You have high expectations when buying a car? Let Catalano Motors meet and exceed them. Committed to excellence, just like the Raiders. It's Catalano Motors, located off Temescal Canyon Road in Corona. And if you'd like to sponsor our Inland Sports broadcast, send us an email at theinlandsportshow@gmail.com. Well, we are putting a bow on this one, everybody. It's been a great week. We will see you on Monday, when we will have all Bigfoot talk. Squatching, baby. Squatching. It's the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports, 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
You can't take away my dignity.